And we are live. We don't have Neo, but we do have the Cavs game.
Are they barely beating the Hornets?
Yeah, this is the second night that they played them in a row. There's only 5 minutes left, so I might actually have to pay attention to most.
Hey, look, Michael Ham has a wrench in the comments. When did he get a wrench?
Oh, he's had a wrench on mine. Yeah, no, he's my only wrencher. He's my only guy.
Well, I know what I need him to fix up right now. As soon as Neo asks his weekly question.
Yeah, because I think we got an up. Well, I mean, based off text messages I have with you this week, maybe we have some movement on this. Dustin and Steve, have you booked lodging for the 2024 National in Cleveland, Ohio yet?
So I have.
Second question, Steve, are you going to the Cleveland National?
Yes, I'm actually going to be there Tuesday to Saturday now.
So Steve goes from I'm not going to I'm going for 2 weeks.
No, originally, so I had to go Tuesday because I knew that I would be able to go Tuesday, Wednesday, because those are my days off from work. So if I can only make it Tuesday, Wednesday, that's what it would have been. So the plan was to go Tuesday. And then, the other people who had vacation at work, they moved their vacations around to free it up for me because they knew how it was important to me. And it's just cool that I work with people that would do that for me. So they moved their vacation to the beginning of July, and another one moved their vacation to after the National. So I was able to get that week, which was super sweet. And maybe I have to buy them a gift or dinner or something. But yeah. And lodging. So, you know, Neo, I've been messaging you a lot about Cleveland neighborhoods. I picked a place out. I was like, Ham, Dustin, is this one good for you? And then Dustin was like, oh, yeah, I approve of it if you want to go ahead and book it. But I thought Ham was in charge of booking. Am I all of a sudden in charge of booking? I feel like if I didn't get cleared to go to the National, these guys would still be like, I don't know where I'm staying. I don't know what I'm doing.
I thought Ham was booking. I was under the impression because Ham was sending around. I don't even have like an Airbnb account. Right. My wife books all the stuff, so I have no idea how to even use that thing. So yeah, I thought Ham was going to book it. I just pay you guys.
Yeah, but it's a nice Airbnb. It's in West Cleveland. It's 3 bedrooms.
It's weird though. Yeah, we looked up the crime rate where Neo had recommended, and it's all-time high. It's basically like the highest crime rate in Cleveland. So I don't really understand that.
Strongville and Westlake and Avon.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll be fine.
It's better than the ones you sent me that were on the complete opposite side of town from where the convention's at.
Yeah, but you know, the one actual house that I sent you a picture of, that one, I looked at the location on the map, and it's actually not far from that. It's in West Cleveland. It's not that far from the convention center.
Yeah, that one was fine. I'm talking about the ones that you were saying
the eastern ones, like Cleveland Heights and
Little Italy itself. You got to drive across town every day.
They were far. Yeah, those were far.
Well, that was the thing. We wanted to make sure that we were at least nearby, like a restaurant, that we weren't out in the middle of nowhere where we had to drive 3 to 5 miles to get to like dinner.
When are you going to have time to eat though? You're going to be at the show from like 8 to 8, and then it's going to go straight into a trade night. It's not like you're going to be going back to the house to eat.
I want to go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I know that. I'm going in Tuesday. I can either get it if I want a direct flight, then I either got to arrive at 11 a.m. or 4 p.m. If I want to arrive anywhere between those times, then I have to get a connecting flight, which
are you running a car or are you Ubering?
I'm driving. So I'll have the car.
Oh, okay. I was going to say having a car on site will be clutch.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's like an hour and a half flight from either airport that I go from, Philly or Baltimore. And there's hardly no direct flights for a flight that's an hour and a half. They all go to like Detroit and then back to Cleveland. I'm like, what? I don't know. Can I get a parachute and just jump when you're going over Cleveland?
Did you look to see if there was any direct flights in the Akron-Canton? Akron-Canton has a small regional airport.
Oh, I don't know. Haven't looked.
Which is very convenient to fly in and out of. It's about an hour away from the IX Center, but might give you more options. Same for anyone else out there that's looking to fly in. Look to fly in the Akron-Canton too. Way easier airport to fly in and out of.
Do we think it's going to be as busy this year just based on location?
I don't think so, just based on location.
I mean, the show, but maybe not the general congestiveness of everything. But I mean, that's what's usually good about it.
Yeah, I think the total number of attendees will be lower, but it's still going to feel busy.
Yeah.
Now, what's that?
I just was reading, somebody said StarStock and eBay have a partnership.
Yeah, they just announced that today.
I just saw that, yeah. But isn't it, what's kind of interesting though is it sounded almost similar to kind of the COMC thing.
Sounds
like
exactly like the COMC thing.
Yeah, so eBay maybe just trying to buy a vault things or invest in. I don't know. Maybe,
I think it's just a part. I think it's just a sure we'll do it. I don't know that there's like.
I didn't even know StarStock still had any kind of existence at all.
They sold a couple months ago.
I'm sure that eBay probably got a great deal, whatever that was. I'm sure they got a better. I'm sure eBay got the better end of the deal.
100%.
Oh, all right. Speaking of COMC, you brought up COMC. We touch on that in a minute.
Yeah. Well, real quick, Bob Boozle, breaking news: hobby savior, Fanatic CEO and lovely man, the CEO and lovely man, Michael Rubin, brings smiles, children's faces, according to unbiased asset class writer Darren Rovell. We will touch on Darren Rovell in a few minutes, Bob. Some big news from Darren Rovell, of course, that some of you may or may not have heard. But Steve, tell us about your COMC experience. Based on what I've seen online from all of the COMC shipping, I'm nervous to listen to what you have to say.
Well, no, I mean, if anybody watched my video today, I showed a Troy Aikman card that I bought off COMC on the 15th or the 14th, and it arrived on the 25th. Yeah, I bought it on the 14th. It arrived at my house on the 25th. And I'm seeing a lot of videos or a lot of people are talking about, and I'm not saying it's not true. This is just my personal experience. Other people might have different experiences, but that was less than 10 business days to get that card. And then I had another card that I bought from there on the 17th, March 17th. And I was like, okay, maybe this one is going to get hung up. And that one arrived yesterday, which was the 26th. So that one even took less time than the first one. So they're both well under that, right around that 7 to 8 business day type. So I'm not seeing any backups on the shipping for my cards now. Maybe it's the price of the cards. One of them was $40. One of them was $80. Maybe it's the rush shipping. I pay like an extra 10 or 20 cents. I don't even know. The first one was a little bit extra, maybe 20 cents extra shipping. The last one, I feel like the normal shipping and the rush shipping were both $4.99. So I don't know. I mean, I guess there's the option to get the rushed for a couple extra cents or an extra quarter or whatever. And I'm getting my cards, within a decent amount of time. I'm having cards come from eBay that are going through authenticity that are taking way longer, of course. And I'm having cards from eBay. I just got a card from an eBay sale that took about 26 days to get to me, and it was shipped. It was shipped on time. It wasn't on the seller. That's just how long it took in the postal service. Now, it may have been a regular envelope, but I watched the tracking on it, and it was dropped off at the post office like a day after I bought it, and it was just in the postal service system for that long.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it now. I just went to my account, and if I want to ship home, the economy is $8.99, $8.99, and I can. It says I can have that delivered by May 31st. I was like, March, that can't be right. By May 31st, so that takes a while. Or I can pay $350 more for $12.49, and I can have it April 6th in about 10 days, 9 or 10 days is what it's saying.
For your shipping.
So I guess my question is for people, are all of the complaints coming from economy shippers that maybe, because I actually saw Brian Gray on Twitter going off about this, and I saw something that he had written about changing it. Like, he's like, how come I can't change it? So my guess is that he picked economy, and now he's trying to change it to rushed or whatever, and he can't do it, and he's pissed. So I guess that's kind of my thing is, what percentage of the people that are upset about shipping picked economy going back, and it got backed up? Maybe there's 100 people, and it just seems like there, there's 1,000, but it could just be that those are the people that picked, economy, and now they're kind of stuck.
Yeah, and I'm also shipping a single card at a time. That could be a difference as opposed to someone shipping multiple cards. And also, when I'm shipping one card, rushed really isn't that much more. Like I said, it might have been 25 cents more. If you're shipping more cards and it gets to be like $3, $4 more, and you're shipping cards that aren't even worth, or you didn't even pay as much for the cards as you did for the shipping, I understand that. That would be pretty crappy because you're trying to get those, $1 and $2, $3 deals on COMC. And then if you have to then pay more in shipping than what you're paying for the cards, that would be a bit of a complaint. But as far as single cards go, for me, a $40 and an $80 card, less than 8 business days, or about 8 business days on both of them, And I always picked rushed anyway because I'm always in a hurry to get my cards. And then even going back in the day to COVID and all that, I always picked rushed so that I could, because it never really seemed like much of a price difference. Getting my cards to be quicker outweighed the 20 cents or whatever extra it used to cost.
Ham, let's go ahead and book it if you can as soon as possible, just so we don't lose it. And yeah, I'm ready to pay when you need it. We'll get that going.
Yeah, see, Chris Hayes has got a good comment, and that's kind of along the lines of I was talking about. So he's shipping a lot of cards, and it's about, he says, an extra 25 cents per card. So that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing the 25 cents or whatever because I'm only doing one card at a time. And I get it if you're shipping a lot and it's costing you that. But when people talk about it, they mainly just say COMC's running behind. They don't say, okay, these are the different scenarios. They leave those parts out.
Bob Boozle with a sweeping generalization of the smells in Ohio, burnt chemicals. What's up, Steve?
What's up?
Orlando in the house. How many employees does StarStock still have? Over under 4.5. I just remember going back. Was it Dakota? Was it Dakota that interviewed the guy that was running StarStock, and he was like, he did not like. He was like, I can't wait to get out of here. That
was towards the end of like the StarStock days. Like they were already on the way out.
It kind of reminded me of like the Jim Carrey part in Fun with Dick and Jane, where they put him up to be like the VP of communications. I just watched it last night, so I remember it. But like they basically set him up with like this promotion to go and talk on national TV about the company going down. Going down. That's basically what happened there. It was too bad. But like you said, I think they got bought out.
Had no idea what they were doing. It was clear. If you ever talked to them at all, you immediately were like, oh God, this is a disaster.
I don't recognize the legally binding cake. Interesting. I don't recognize that one. I saw a top series one was mentioned in an article in April Sports Illustrated, and Market Movers got a shout out in the article. Cool. Food treasures. What's going on?
Are you were you brushing up
your food treasures? Are you hungry?
Oh, found treasures. Excuse me.
Were you?
I treasure food. Don't get me wrong.
Were you working on your cover letter, Dustin, before you logged on to apply for a new media partnership deal? Is the website getting bought out already? Like, what's going on?
You raise an excellent point. Let's move over here to our share screen. If I can find it.
What are we doing? Where are we going?
Don't accidentally show the wrong screen. We don't want to see the.
I know. Let me make sure I'm doing this properly. Okay.
We don't want to see like your bank account information or your OnlyFans or.
Yeah, make sure the OnlyFans. That's only on like 20 tabs. So let me just make sure I don't click there. Okay. All right. Are we good? All right. So we've got Darren Rovell. Every week, millions of dollars being spent on collectibles and memorabilia. Yet there hasn't been a real media outlet to cover this asset class. My heart fluttered a little bit when I read that the first time. I got a little bit of a twitch. But Darren is bringing it to all of you and to us on April 8th with Collectibility. So it should be good.
Click media.
Media.
Collect.
One
no vowels.
Celebrity Mike Geo in the comments.
Valvana.
Celebrity Mike Geo in the comment section. I wonder how he feels about not being included in this.
Oh, is Geo? No, I saw. Is he in here? I saw Geo was actually. No, I saw he commented on this thing. Something like "We're ready to work." I saw something from the.
You're not a real journalist, Geo. You're out. Yeah, he's in the. He just commented a couple.
I know Abel in Vegas. They're direct from COMC platform, not from eBay. Because if I see a card listed on eBay that's through COMC, I go to COMC to buy it because I get a discount for signing into my COMC account.
To get Neo a light.
Don't you get like a 10% discount or something on COMC if you have an account?
Yeah.
Like if there's a $10 card or a $20 card on eBay and you go over to COMC and you can find the same listing for a couple dollars cheaper because you get a discount if you buy directly off their platform.
Neo's like
plenty of lights. I just dim them for when I'm on the live.
He likes to set the mood for the live stream.
Well, my life used to be
we
so
all
bright
don't
on my
hide
face,
behind.
you know?
We don't hide behind a podcast like some people. Some of us are out here in front of the people,
out here. Exactly.
dealing with comment sections and stuff. They just have to deal with a Facebook group with 50,000 crazies in it.
I have never been on a podcast.
What do you
I have
mean?
a Neo has a radio voice, but I don't know if I have that. I don't think I have the radio voice.
I don't have it. I got to throw my face up or I don't have a chance. There's no chance.
You know, when you hear somebody's voice and you're like, man, they must be like the manliest of men. And then you see them and it's like, holy shit, that's their voice.
The thing with this, so I feel like Darren was trying to be smooth, kind of like with Zero Cool. Yeah, we're going to come up with some like a cool name. Let's go Zero Cool, like a movie reference. I feel like this is kind of the same thing that happened here. Guys, we got to come up with something that's unique. It's different. Let's go collect, but take the vowels out. Let's go collect without vowels.
You know what's unique and different? Crazy Daisy Color Blast stickers.
Lord, you're always
Plug.
selling. Steve is always selling. Hey, while we're selling,
There's like 10 left.
While we're selling, guys, SlabMags.com, sports card dad code for 10% off. While Steve is selling, I'll just go ahead and sell some.
There's like 10 of 100 left. I made 100 and there's like 10
Don't you
left
have some
already.
high-priced Prism Monopoly blaster to pump?
Yeah.
Pump the brakes.
Oh my Lord. That
Pump
was,
the brakes on that blaster.
yeah. Be careful out there. Careful out there. All right. So what do we think about this? Neo, are you sad that Darren Rovell's shutting you down and shutting me and Steve down? Pretty soon, like we're going to be canceled out of this thing. Like,
How do you think Sports Collectors Daily felt reading these tweets?
Oh, yeah. Rich was like,
they've been around for like 15, 20 years, haven't they?
Rich was like,
I saw they had a tweet today that was like, you could tell it was an indirect response. It was like a summary, like Sports Collectors Daily. We have over X amount of articles.
Yeah.
We've been covering the hobby for X amount of years. I'm like, yep. Because that's the first thing I thought of. This one wasn't as bad. I forget the guy's name from Rally.
I'm not a real media outlet.
He had the one that was more offensive. The one that it was like people just firing off tweets during lunch breaks is like the hobby journalism.
Yeah, Vintage Card Collector has a very good point down here about the SlabMags.
Tell SlabMags to get all the colors in stock. So many unavailable. Okay. Hey, that's good feedback.
They don't have SGC or BGS in enough colors.
Has an SGC card expensive enough to put in a slab.
Yes. So
I want an orange one for my Willie Mays rookie.
Oh, wait. Speaking of SGC, did we talk about how Steve sold out and made an apology video? How much did they sponsor you to make that video?
Man, I didn't get anything for that. I was hoping, but nothing.
I just said, Steve, are you sure that you're going to act like this?
Hey, that video ran for like a week. That video ran for a couple days or a week or so, and I've taken that video down as well.
Sell out.
I said what I had to say. If people saw it, they saw it. If they didn't, they didn't. It is what it is.
Corporate Steve.
So this is something Bob actually brings up a good point. I can't remember who I saw wrote this, but it was basically like, this is not going to be about collectors. So Darren wrote for collectors by collectors, but Bob writes here, this is going to be more about asset classes and probably like trying to get institutional money. And, like, I think that's where, some people are looking at this. Like, it just feels like that word collectors is used as kind of like a weapon. It's like the word kind, where it's like, be kind, kindness. But it's always people that are like trying to throw some weird thing at you. But it's like, oh, if you disagree with me, you're not being kind. I feel like collector is starting to be that word in the hobby.
There's going to be so many people that don't want to listen to him.
What's that?
There's going to be so many people that don't want to have anything to do with Darren Rovell.
Well, Neo and I. So here's the other part.
I'm saying the people in the comments and the viewers, because they're going to look at people like the hobby elite. A lot of times the hobby elite are off-putting to some people just because they feel like they can't relate to them.
I mean, that might be true, but Darren breaks all the stories because he has all the contacts. So,
well, yeah, I mean, that's like listening to Adam Schefter about football. I mean, yeah, I get that, but I don't tune into him for anything else.
Yeah, good points here, Bob. And frankly, Neo and I don't break the news. And I can't speak for you, Neo, but I don't really want to break the news because I don't want to be wrong on the news story. So I'm perfectly happy not breaking it and just reacting to it like we always do.
I mean, if I had it stone cold, I would break it, but I have to have it like stone. Like in the video that I did on this, I mentioned like the only legit story I've broken since the YouTube channel was the Beckett CEO one, and that I like triple confirmed before I did it.
Well, because we have information a lot of times ahead of time, but we're not going to talk about it.
God, you guys sound like Dan Rather and Tom Brokaw over here.
Well, we do a lot of times. We do get some little stuff flying around at us, but we're not trying to look. For me, I don't care about being first like that. I really don't, because I don't want it to be wrong, and I don't want it to like. I just don't care. I would just rather kind of do the reaction bit. I like the reaction.
You're right. Like we find stuff out, but sometimes you can't confirm it. So it's like I'll give a perfect example. When the PWCC shit was all going down, like every one of us knew something was happening with PWCC, but no one was 100% sure like what. Like, were they going to go bankrupt? Were they going to get bought out? Who was going to buy them? Like if you would have said like bet that something's going to happen with PWCC in the next 48 hours, I would have put everything on it. But I wouldn't have been able to guess exactly which version.
Just say it's your opinion, and then you have it covered. People talk about stuff all the time.
Oh, that's what I mean. Did you not see the eBay?
Then at the end of every sentence, they add, "That's what I think," or "In my opinion." That
yeah. Well, here's what's going to happen. Me and Neil are going to break news to compete with Rovell, and then we're just going to have a bunch of retractions every week. Golden purchased by whatever, and then like 3 days later, sorry about that, guys, we're actually wrong. It's actually not this, it was that, or whatever. You
guys can have the news.
Gio's right. Like
I'm gonna be taking my walks on the beach with my dog and buying cards.
I guess my thing though with this is he already does this, so how is this different from what he already does? Yeah, I guess that's kind of my thing. And then my other question is, well, Rovell's got his hands in like 10 different things, so is this going to be his full-time job? Or is this something he's kind of like, he's going to do his usual break the news type stuff like he normally does, but then he's going to have 10 writers or whatever that are doing kind of their writer stuff, like, like a Sports Collectors Daily. Like a year from now, is this going to be Rovell's main job, or is this kind of just like another venture?
I mean, I think he left Action Network, so for now, this is it. So
yeah, for now.
I mean, and the other stuff that he's in, but I mean, Gio's ultimately right. Like they're not like he has the connections more than anybody else.
Get Orlando down here, man. I'm hurt, Orlando. I'm hurt. The collector's dream comment.
And I'm also curious to see like what does the in between look like? Like because there's not breaking news every single day, like at least to the level of like mergers and acquisitions and that sort of nonsense.
He just
so, like what are they going to fill in the gaps with? Like is it going to be like oh cool, we're going to go out and talk to like Fogel like Jeff Wilson does and have like a cool collector story, or are they going to dig in the shit? Like are we going to get like legitimate like are loaded boxes real? Here's the actual research or whatever, or is this hobby conspiracy theory real? Like if Fanatics screws up with 101s again, like, are they going to do a deep dive on that? Like, that's the stuff that I'm kind of curious to watch.
Well, in the way he puts it here, a real media outlet to cover this asset class, it feels like they're going to really cover. And if I look at like Will Stern as a guy that I've talked to him, he used to be at Rally, nice guy. And he does good. He has a pretty good following on Twitter and does a good job of breaking kind of like big sales that happen at the different auction houses and that sort of thing. Is it going to be a lot of media stuff similarly to what they are already kind of done on Twitter with, this sold for this record breaking price for this collectible or whatever? Because asset class kind of gives the impression that they're going to cover the big money parts of the hobby. I don't think they're going to be going around and celebrating collectors of various things or whatever. I could be wrong. I guess I just I'm curious to see how they set this thing up. Yeah, I'm going to start putting more video, more B-roll. Like Steve's got Daisy. I'm going to go with Spritz, my dog. I'm going to have some more B-roll coming up here with Spritzel to compete with all of the Daisy love that's out there.
Well, look, this is what it says. It says, I just listened to Neo and Dustin, but I'd rather watch Daisy. Nowhere in there do I get mentioned. Nowhere.
Orlando just skips through the video until he sees Daisy.
The Daisy parts. That's why I put out a whole minute to minute and 30 seconds of just Daisy. But that video didn't get as many views as my regular videos. So I look at the dog every morning and I say, I'm better than you.
Well, Jim just broke the internet. If people actually use the dark web, most stock buy, sells, and other news are on there days before they actually happen. So we can get all the PWCC golden acquisition, all that stuff news. We just have to access the dark web. So there you go. Mercari is now charging sellers 0% fees instead of 10%, but buyers now have to pay 2 extra fees for purchases. Last time, I think we had a Mercari purchase. Neo, didn't you buy a box that was full of like Ghosts and Goblins cards or something?
Dungeons and Dragons. That went real sideways.
Yeah.
Spoilers for tomorrow's video. That clip may make an appearance.
What do you think the Beatles quad? Did you guys see the Beatles quad? Robert is talking about the Beatles quad.
Yeah, I got pulled already. Day one by Leighton on Fanatics.
But my thing about that is,
loaded.
But it's just they're all cut auto, so it's not even like they got the Beatles all to like sign it at the same time, like a guitar or something. Tough. Like I feel no, it wouldn't have been tough back in the day. I feel like you can buy all their individual signatures.
Steve, not back in the day.
I know, but I feel like you can still buy all their individual signatures at card shows, on checks, on cuts, and you can make that card. That's obviously what Topps did.
Yeah, but no one else has done that, so why wasn't anyone else smart enough to do that?
Steve may or may not
be company that makes it.
Yeah, I was going to say Steve may or may not be buying cut autos to sell to manufacturers at some point down the road.
Yeah, he already did that once with the Luau Senator, didn't he?
I understand Paul McCartney was at my casino.
Okay, well, what about the rest of them that aren't at a casino anywhere? Because
2 of them are dead.
That's what I'm saying.
But what I'm saying is there's lots of people that are dead in sports and in Hollywood and stuff that their autographs are still very obtainable. Like I feel like if it's not, I just feel like the cut for me, being a cut just takes away from the organicness of it. Like I feel like if you were at a concert or you at somewhere where the Beatles are all together and you have a guitar or a shirt or an album cover or something and they all sign it, it's like got its moment in time. This is just a bunch of autographs cut from various moments in time and slapped on one big piece. Like,
yeah, but Ruben has a lot of money, but I don't think he has DeLorean level of money to go back in time and get all 4 on the same piece. Exactly.
No, you can't. You can find stuff of theirs on the market. It's rare on the same piece that they sign together, but it's going to draw a whole lot of money. But I'm wondering in what comparison, what is this card going to be valued at in comparison to something that was actually signed back in the 60s by all 4 of them at the same time? But memorabilia and
card. That's the way
I'm just saying memorabilia and cards are kind of 2 different ballparks. I think when you get into the Beatles, though, the memorabilia stuff is still going to sell higher than a card.
It's like a card that doesn't even have a freaking game used patch in it, sells for way more than an actual full game used jersey.
I saw something.
Yeah, but we're talking sports and we're talking pop culture. That's what I'm saying. 2 different
things. Fanatics I saw some behind the scenes where it showed all their like game used stuff and
wild.
They have like a whole truckload warehouse full of stuff. For
even
cards.
Leaf does. Card Collector 2 did that video at Leaf, and they just have.
Or maybe it was. Yeah. I saw one for Leaf.
Well,
too.
Fanatics does Instagram reels all the time. Of like, here's this random box of like 60 game used Paul Pierce jerseys or something crazy.
Right. Tor browser. Yeah. Okay, that's our dark web outlet. Tor browser.
Good luck getting your computer taken over the second.
Orlando says that Luau Senator auto was rare.
I just picked up 18 viruses just reading that.
Probably. You're on a watch list that you read that name out loud.
Yeah. I'm laughing, but I'm a little nervous about it now too, to be honest with you. Oh, breaking news. Diana Ross is Michael Jackson's real mother. I think I feel like I've heard that theory before.
I agree.
I happen to also agree, John. There you go.
John makes a very compelling case on that whole thing. Maybe Rovell will cover that.
I wish it was a movie or something, honestly.
Dude, this is the story that we need on collectibility.com. The Diana Ross Michael Jackson story. Let's have
Gio and Jesse should have him on.
Hey, running out. If you run out of guests, there you go. The advantage of Rovell's newsletter is we might get ads for bunner bills and sports card companies are getting bought up.
Dustin, how do you feel that there's less and less hobby companies daily getting bought out for potential future partnerships?
Well, we just got to look. We got to look outside. We need to start looking outside a little bit. I wouldn't mind a Pop-Tart sponsorship. Just saying. Let's get creative. Let's get creative.
I'm going for that protein ISO 100 or whatever it is I'll be using in my videos.
When do we get a Dustin Manscaped?
But I have no muscle, so they're like, we can't have somebody with no muscle advertise our protein.
Honestly,
I want the Dustin Manscaped.
That's literally what they told me.
I want to do the Manscaped thing just for funniness. Not
you just
like,
do it even though you're not sponsored by them. Just do it anyway.
I might. Maybe I will do that.
Send them the clip. Be like, here's my tryout.
Or just tell them, hey, look, I'll just do the affiliate thing. Just give me an affiliate because I just want to talk about this. I think it's hilarious.
I felt like getting an Amazon link for my magnifier because so many people ask me when I'm evaluating cards what my magnifier is. And so like every other video, I'm like, here's my magnifier, Magna Pros, right? And I'm just like.
It's not tricky to get an Amazon affiliate link. It's not the most difficult thing in the world.
Although Amazon doesn't pay a whole lot. Just saying.
I hardly ever even use them. The only time I ever do mine is if I like talk about something specific.
You got to sell a lot of Amazons.
I think I earn like $5 a month on my Amazon affiliate link, and I basically just use that money to buy shipping supplies.
Michael Ham, what are you doing? You should be booking our Airbnb right now.
He's watching the chat.
It should be locked and loaded.
He's on guard in the chat. Didn't Cardporn sell Beatles stuff? Didn't they have a whole bunch of stuff that they auctioned out?
Oh, they might have.
It was worth money. They were probably involved in it.
But the thing that was funny is I remember that auction, the results were underwhelming, I thought. If I remember correctly, they had all this stuff. Yeah. They were trying to buy like a 52 tops mantle or that whatever, they, him, whatever the hell it was, those guys or that guy. And it didn't do nearly as well as I think was expected.
But you know why that could be? Because sports cards and memorabilia were doing so much that it made everything else look minimal.
Yeah, the timing now probably would. Well, even like timing now would probably be better for that.
You know, when you look at what a sports card was selling for and then what maybe one of these iconic pieces were selling for, and you're looking at about the same price and you're like, wow, that only sold for as much as that card just sold for. But if you think about that now, those cards were overselling, were selling well above what they should have been selling for at the time.
Patches, did you work in the business? I was in the Tops and Flair game used rooms 15 years ago or so. That's cool. Did you get a tour or did you actually work in the hobby?
Oh, Ham says he booked it.
All right. We're in.
Let me see if it's
so
all
what question am I going to ask now?
In there like swimwear, baby.
We're in like Flynn.
Who's Flynn?
I don't know. Flynn's Arcade.
I've heard that before. I just didn't know where it came from. Oh, Ham, I'm getting ready to check my save list in Cleveland and see if it's gone.
On Campus asks.
It says unavailable. Ham got it. Ham
all right. Either Ham got it or we lost
it. Or someone else did.
We better not have lost it. No,
someone else ran and booked it because you were talking about it at the beginning of the live.
Did the Cavs miss their flight to Charlotte? Did they end up winning?
No, they lost. Spoiler, the Cavs were already in Charlotte. Makes it even worse.
Oh, man. Oh, who's going to Chantilly? You guys going to Chantilly?
I'm about 85% sure.
Wow.
Are you coming, Steve, for the day?
I think I'm making I think I'm running the gauntlet like I did in Philly, which means I'll be there.
All-nighter.
Yeah, I'll be there by the time that they open, like 9 or 9:30, but I'll be out of there by probably like 1. So it'll be like a 3 or 4 hour gauntlet.
We'll have to try to snag lunch or something real quick before you hit the road.
Mainly looking for just raw cards, so to give me the opportunity to skip most of the other cases.
So what's up with you? Like, I feel like you told me you have a ton of inventory. So you're going for more inventory? What are you looking for?
Anything. I'm looking for anything that I think will grade up and be nice and good cards to grade. I have 70 cards at PSA and I have 30 on my table right now for evaluation. So 30 plus. So I'm going to have over 100 cards tied up at PSA by the end of this month because I need to get those out because PSA has the deal going right now for the 2000 to now modern football or modern whatever.
Is it for the national or just any time?
Oh, it's for anything. So when I send out a big PSA order, like say I get all 70 of those cards back right around the same time, I will go through the stacks of cards and I'll be like, okay, I want to take this to the national. I want to put this on eBay. This is a My Slabs card. This is a consignment card, right? And everything will go out into different piles. And there'll be a box that goes to consignment. There'll be a handful of stuff I keep for myself for eBay and My Slabs and even Instagram sales. That'll be more of the popular stuff. But things like a lot of these gold refractors and things that I'm buying, those need to go to eBay or consignment on eBay because I need more eyes to see those, right? Those are going to be targeted by collectors and such. But my CJ Stroud and Anthony Richardson and stuff like that, I'll either list on eBay myself or I'll take those into the national with me. So My buying is very versatile. It's all the way from like 1990 to today, and it's all different. It's veterans, it's Hall of Famers, it's prospects, it's a little bit of everything. So when I go to sell it, it'll be a little bit of this goes here, there, and everywhere.
How are you looking at stuff like from 1990 and up? Obviously, with like ultra modern, it's kind of like you have to gem it. Like ideally, it's like, can this gem? But if you're going back to like a 90s insert card, is it just kind of like, hey, if this is cheap enough and I can get a 9 out of it,
yeah,
I'm in good shape?
Yeah, the 90s stuff, especially those gold refractors, they sell well in 9s. They even sell pretty solid in 8s. You'll at least get your raw card value back out of an 8. But and it also depends on how many other people are grading them, like slab competition. Like if I get a PSA 9 or a PSA 8 of a gold refractor and I put it on eBay, are there many other slabbed copies of that card on eBay? Not normally, So if a collector wants a gold refractor of somebody in a slab, then the option is whatever is listed at that moment. So
Bob Boozle's looking forward to Rovell's 2,000 word think pieces about how to prepare for the National with comfortable shoes and make sure you have snacks and water.
Oh, man, we got to, Dustin, we got to get ready for those videos. It's almost time.
Oh my God.
Start prepping now.
Man, it's going to be rough.
Does chat have any good chat? What's a good spot for me and Steve to grab lunch in Chantilly?
Oh, there's some good places right outside the show. Is there one called Sedona Grill? I think there's a place called Sedona Grill that's a really good restaurant right around the corner.
And we'll see what chat got for us. Maybe they got some hidden gems.
I've gone there. Last time I went there with my wife when she went to Chantilly with me, and then when I stayed in Chantilly, because I went for the whole weekend last time, I ate there once too, and that was when a whole bunch of us ate. There was a whole group of us. There was like Roth and Kenny and all the guys from Tampa and Florida and stuff, and that was a good one.
Ryan from Card Collectors has been spending crazy. At least he was at the Dallas show. Ryan's probably buying it 70% and selling to repackers. He's probably flipping it over to Hit Parade for 100%. I'm kidding. I can't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's spending crazy, or he's spending probably large amounts of money, but he's still getting
selling
deals
as fast as he buys it.
Yeah, it's okay to spend large amounts of money if you're making large amounts of money. So as long as you're not overpaying.
He also
overspending and overpaying are two different things.
I mean, the one thing too is where you guys are, Rob, I know you can speak to it. Like people are absolutely nuts about Ohio State and, just the local teams. So I'm sure that he probably can buy Cleveland Indians stuff and Ohio State stuff. I'm sure. I remember hearing him say too that they went huge on Bowman U for Marvin Harrison Jr. And, that's done really well, so he knows.
He has like 6-hour whatnot streams where he just sells like 1 billion cards. So
right.
He needs inventory.
That's true. He's got a big enough audience on Whatnot. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I mean, he literally will go on Whatnot for 4 or 5 hours straight and just sell like hundreds of cards in a single set.
I've been buying some nice.
Plus he does his own repack too. He has his own repack.
Oh, does he do a repack? I didn't know that.
Yeah. I don't think it's super expensive, but he does his own mystery pack stuff.
Crazy Kev will be up your way on Sunday for the Eclipse on Monday.
Good luck, because I think it's supposed to rain on Monday.
Rain.
Patches had a bunch of game used stuff that the companies wanted. Every number patch, no matter. I guess that's why it's Patches O'Houlihan.
Does Cleveland have a food that's popular to the city?
Beer.
I think that's every city.
Rat burgers.
No, I mean, like in Chicago, they have the pizza, and then they also have like the hot dogs, right?
Dog.
Yeah, so
I don't know if Cleveland has like a particular thing. Probably like pierogies or something like that. Pierogies are real popular, especially depending on what side of this town you're on.
Bob says they dig in the mud pits for food.
You skipped over Pete, the poor new guy, to the hobbies comment.
Yeah, I didn't really know where you wanted to go with it. I'm new to the hobby and looking for a place to park some money. This almost feels like a trap. Sorry, Pete.
I mean, I don't have a great answer for him, but I just wanted to acknowledge
this is one for chat. Chat, throw in your opinion. Steve, if you want to throw, is there anything I should know how to protect myself before?
Pokemon sealed wax and then just forget about it.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a protection.
Safe.
Watch some of my gambling videos.
What's the cliche thing? Collect what you love, so when it goes to 0, you can still have the.
No, that's the worst. Like if you're collecting, yes, collect what you love. But if you're trying to flip and you only buy what you like, yeah, you're going to be stuck with a lot.
Invest in Crazy Daisy stickers.
Yeah. If you're looking for more safe spots, pick a CD or a savings bond or something. It's not cards.
I got right here, fresh case. Just got
one.
Yeah,
I mean, there's always players you can go with. I mean, Mahomes and Brady are pretty airtight. But,
what is that, Rob?
They've come down.
Pokemon boosters.
Oh.
But still, just buy the players that are pretty much locks to be the greats, but they're going to already be expensive. So you're going to have to put money into them. Mahomes, Brady. It depends on what route you want to go. Griffey.
The
vintage,
The upside down repack coming soon.
With a Crazy Daisy chaser.
Are any of you guys going after any players from this coming NFL draft? So I have a fair amount of kind of the first round QB guys outside of Caleb Williams, because Caleb Williams is already pretty expensive, but I've got quite a bit of the Drake May, the Bo Nix, and the JJ McCarthy type stuff. Nothing crazy, but like the cards range probably from like $60 to maybe like $150 each. And I graded them up, and I'm going to try to kind of sell into the next, 4 or 5 months, kind of leading up to the draft and leading up to the season, kind of banking on or kind of assuming that there's not going to be pro autos. And also I'm just buying autographs, but a lot of that Bowman U autograph stuff is not very expensive. So
are you going to start purging that stuff like draft night?
I've already got some that's up, and just kind of like, I'll probably have a flow of it that's going, over the next 5 months. Yeah. We'll see. It's really an experiment. I've never done any of the college card type stuff, but I'm excited for the draft. So that's kind of just an added element of a little speculation with the draft, and it's kind of fun.
The answer for me is no. I'm not touching any of that stuff. I would rather buy the 3 quarterbacks from last year's draft class, even the ones that struggled, like Bryce Young right now, because he's just as cheap as those guys that are about to be drafted, and he has NFL uni stuff that you can buy raw.
I'm looking at Stroud stuff. I have a feeling Stroud's going to be the one everyone wants at the National.
Well, yeah, it's Stroud, but he's high. Like everybody already wants him, so his stuff's already expensive. It's kind of like with Stroud. I have some Stroud stuff. Like I got a Stroud right here. It just came in the mail today, and it's an SGC slab that I might crack, even though it's a 10. But this is a Panini Black case hit. Panini profile. It's the profiles out of the Panini Black product. That's a pretty strong CJ Stroud card. And then here's a definite crack out candidate. This is another case hit, the Vanta of Anthony Richardson. So this is definitely getting cracked and going to PSA, because even if it comes in a PSA 9, I'm better than what I have it in. But
shots fired.
Oh wait, I thought I got a sponsorship.
You're just dropping truth bombs. I fully support.
That's all I ever do. But
no worries. I'll mute this part of the stream later on, Steve. No, don't worry.
Yeah, I'm not. I just feel like there's still more value in those draft class guys.
We come back to it and it's just edited out.
But Stroud's like probably the most popular quarterback to buy right now. He's probably more popular than Mahomes. Popular and better are two different things, but man, you have to, with Stroud, you kind of got to buy raw and grade to add value to the card. Because if you're buying slabs, what's going to add value to the card? He's already done so good that it's like buying other players. It's like buying Josh Allen and Joe Burrow. He's already on their price level.
AIH Raul nailed it here. I've made a lot more of my crypto than I have on anything else over the last 6-7 months. So I think he kind of nailed it here. All the dog coins forever. But it's funny how that stuff has just gone absolutely ballistic. It was Left 4 Dead. I remember all the chat, all the comments about it. And those people are a little quiet these days.
Yeah.
Ian,
I don't trust crossovers. In case we don't see your comment, I don't trust crossovers because I feel like the grading companies are so lazy, or so busy, or lazy, or whatever you want to say, that if you send them a card in a slab, that they're not going to go through the trouble of cracking it out. And if you unless you don't put a minimum grade on it. So say you send in a 9 and you say, hey, I don't want this crossed over unless it grades a 9. They're going to send it right back to you in the slab. First of all, they're either going to be too lazy to do it, or they're going to say we can't evaluate this well enough from inside the slab to give you the grade that you want.
Yeah, the only time I've ever tried to cross something is when we did it at the National, because we didn't get charged for it at Beckett.
I think Pete was being sarcastic here about the savings.
I think so too. And I'm
sorry, Pete.
And, I wish we had something better to say without saying, hey, go buy this. This is safe. It's going to make you money. But it's just not an answer. It's just all an answer, a gamble. I talk about that in my videos a lot. There's some stuff that's safer than others. Like I said, like vintage. I don't know what road or what budget. It really has a lot to do with your budget. That's a huge question. There's so many variables to your question without knowing some details to really give you an accurate answer.
Yeah, too general.
So to be fair to you and to be fair to us, if you want to give us some more details, then maybe I can help you.
Jaden Daniels only has Onyx and Sage autos, McCracken. So they're actually a little bit pricey. I've tried to buy a few and just slip through the.
But I can tell you what's going to happen. And I know your plan is to move the Bowman U stuff prior to the season. Once these guys get NFL uniforms, people aren't even going to care about their autos.
Yeah, but
people are going to rather have a Prism Silver than a college auto.
I mean, Stroud kind of proved that that's not the case, and so
it'll be. Well, first off, that'll be in a year.
No, Stroud NFL uniform cards are worth more than his like wild card and Leaf autos and stuff. I look at them all.
Sure, but that stuff still went way up, though.
It's up, yeah. But what I'm saying is, when the NFL uniform stuff came out, people stopped buying that stuff up.
No, that stuff still went up in price. You're right. It doesn't sell for as much as a Prism Silver, but it still went up.
Right. So then what should you be buying? Prism Silvers raw or
Prism Silvers don't
raw?
exist right now for those guys.
Can I pre-order those? I can't pre-order Drake May.
No. For those guys, no. Yeah, no. We're talking CJ Stroud though. Yeah, for those guys, that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. I know your plan is to get them out before that time frame happens. That's my whole point.
But you can even carry some of the If he sold off enough to be free rolling stuff, like I would free roll a Drake May auto in the season because free rolling, it's going to go way up.
Free rolling is a whole new thing. You can do it. I'm free rolling the Kyler Murray downtown right now, so I get that.
Some of us are just free balling.
I mean, it's a different sport already.
But Wemby's first Bowman auto is up like 1,000,000,000% since the season started. It's gone up way more than the Prism Silver has.
Guys, if we were smart, we would have bought Caitlin Clark a year ago, and we'd be retired on an island somewhere. But
that goes to show you how uninterested in the NBA people are, or NBA cards. I mean, honestly, people are so uninterested in so not wanting to put their money into the new NBA superstars that they're putting their money into Caitlin Clark.
It's not even Caitlin Clark autos. It's like the regular refractor stuff,
with their name on it.
It's crazy. I mean, and that stuff is way, way up from when it came out. It's nutty. It's crazy. It beats the vintage. It beats everything else. Caitlin Clark.
I mean, part of that is that her stuff was dirt cheap.
Sure. Yeah.
So when you're talking about that, her auto or her base first Bowman was like a $5 card.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't take much for that to go up 300%. But even her autos are up a ton.
Kevin asked about the Sam Darnolds. They're all gone. I made like $700 profit when it was all said and done, Chris K. I bought the Sam Darnolds for $1,000 and I sold them for right around $1,700 after it was all said and done.
Oh, that pull up Jeff's last comment there, Dustin. That's cool.
What time?
The last one in the chat, 9:53.
Oh, okay. Buy this one?
Yeah. He was the photographer for the shot.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I met Jeff at last year's National. We chatted for a while.
That's really cool. Save His Money in Sports is putting money into the upcoming year's Bowman draft, sealed wax, MR. Yeah, that's about it.
Or Bowman Sapphire. Any of the Sapphire products.
I think we've got a couple of years before manufacturers are on time again, as far as releases go. I mean, we haven't been on time for a while, and it might be longer than a couple of years.
Topps isn't too bad right now. They're a little behind, but their flagship products are getting out on time. Like Topps Series 1 released on
What
time.
about the Caitlin Clark Panini, like the flawless RPAs and stuff? You think that's going to be expensive? Or you think
so long before we see that?
It'll be a while. Yeah, it'll be a while.
A question: what do you think will be the best 2024 football product out by July?
None.
By national, will there be anything?
No.
There won't even be any. There won't be any.
You?
No, that's why I've got all the stuff I've got.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm
usually
saying.
like Score is barely coming out at that point in time, and that stuff's absolute garbage.
But that's what makes this year's draft class, the 2023 draft class, still very, very relevant at this year's national.
Well, yeah. Plus, those guys are super popular. Like,
you mean
everyone loves
Anthony
Stroud
Richardson and that stuff?
Anthony Richardson and Bryce Young and stuff. Yes.
Yeah.
The only thing I worry about Bryce Young is that the Panthers are just absolute trash team.
Yeah, they're bad.
Like, at least like Anthony Richardson, like, you could like map out like, oh, the Colts could make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
but they're in a tougher division. Carolina's not necessarily what I'd call a strong division.
No, but their team's absolute garbage.
Yeah, but they're trying to make changes. There's teams that are always garbage.
They got worse.
Who? Carolina?
Yeah.
Yeah, they signed a couple pieces.
No, they traded away their best pass rusher for nothing.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
Well, a quarterback doesn't need a pass rusher.
He doesn't. Who's he throwing to?
Nobody.
I know. What? Deontay Johnson from Pittsburgh went there.
Yeah, Deontay Johnson. And they don't even have and they traded their pick, which ended up being number 1 overall. Oops.
Didn't they sign Deontay Johnson? I think they signed the offensive lineman from Miami. Robert Hunt went somewhere. Somebody signed away one of our best linemen.
Oh, didn't they sign the guy who used to play for the Saints that went to Miami?
Not Teron Armstead. Miami kept him.
Oh, they did. Okay.
Yeah, and isn't there a new head coaching in Carolina also?
Yeah, they fired everybody last year.
Yeah.
The owner.
I mean, yeah, they might. They're probably trash, but every team is trash and goes through a rebuilding phase at one time. I mean, I remember when Carolina.
I don't disagree, but that's going to hurt Bryce Young's hype because they're just absolute garbage. Like, there's going to be.
People said the same thing about the Texans.
As a Bears fan,
out of the 3, Richardson's probably the best play because his stuff's actually not terribly expensive, and he actually has upside.
Coming into this season, what was the Texans? What was the talk about the Texans? They were trash, right?
Yeah, they surprised.
They were better, very, very but they weren't Panthers level trash.
Man, I don't know. They were bad. I don't think they were picked anywhere close to even being anywhere winning their division or even.
Dakota was the only one that thought they were going to be good.
Oh, did he really?
He thought they were going to be 9
or
something like that. But yeah, exactly.
But he's an Alabama quarterback, right? Bryce Young.
Yep.
He'll mature. I mean, look, Tua and Jalen Hurts both took a couple of years.
Stroud. I mean, Stroud was Ohio State quarterback, and they don't do anything. I mean, like the odds that Stroud would do something are
right. They typically struggle. Justin Fields.
Yeah, I mean,
but hey,
is Zion making a comeback? You guys?
He's been on fire lately, but nobody cares.
The Pelicans are doing something. Everyone's just so scarred. Everyone's got scar tissue from Zion.
I mean, I talked about it in a video a week ago. Zion Silver Prisms are selling for less than Ja, and Ja's out for the season and hasn't played all year. And Zion's like actually dropping like 27, 10, and 12 every night.
That's how scarred everybody is from Zion. Oh man,
it'll be interesting. I could see like if he has some like massive playoff series or something. I wonder if he gets a little spike in prices. He's never been in the playoffs before.
But yeah, anyway, I'm not a big proponent of Bryce Young anyway. I'm just saying there will be some. I'm
just saying of the 3, I would rather go after AR-15 than any of the other 2.
Jim, I'm not talking about WNBA cards. It's really just Caitlin Clark. Like, it's kind of like that's a whole separate entity from the league. I think that like it's Caitlin. Who didn't she get an offer, a $5 million offer to go play for the other league, and she can still play in the WNBA? Who offered that? It was a celebrity.
I missed that.
Yeah, it's oh man.
You can guarantee, I would bet pretty much anything right now that she's in the 3-point contest against someone in the NBA All-Star Weekend next year.
Oh, did you see something how the WNBA wants to break off from the NBA for TV rights? Yeah. It's like the second that the WNBA has got like their star, they're like, All right, bye guys. We're good. We're gonna do this ourselves. We don't want to do any sort of a rev share.
Jeff says Ice Cube made the offer to Caitlin Clark.
Ice Cube, $5 million, and she can still play in the WNBA. It's like 8 games or something for his league.
Oh, is that the what's that called?
It's like 3.
I've heard of that before.
Unit 3
Jeff
or something.
might throw it in chat.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
5 million. Ice Cube, big 3.
Big 3, yeah.
Yeah. She's got to play like 10 games for like.
I think like a lot of ex NBA players play in that and stuff, or like guys that washed out, or people that are like older or retired.
The biggest news, honestly, out the WNBA in the last 20 years was the whole Brittany Griner thing last year. Whenever that was, 2 years ago. It didn't even have anything to do with playing in the league. That was the most media attention the WNBA had ever gotten.
Here's what's going to happen is, just like what happened in the NBA, now every single girl that plays girls basketball is going to be shooting from beyond the arc. Everyone's going to be practicing their 40-foot threes and trying to replicate it because, I mean, look, female athletes, my sister is a soccer coach, Steve, you know this, here locally with the NC Courage, they're starting to gain traction where pro female soccer players starting to make some money, but it's not in that sort of it's not in the $5 million range or anything like that. The best players. So, I mean, if she can get $5 million to go play for 1 year, in some big 3 league,
it's not even a year. That's just like it's a tournament.
It's like 90 days or something. Yeah. I mean, geez, it's interesting stuff. But anyway, we all blew it.
She makes, what does she make? Like 3.5 million just from NIL deals?
I have no idea.
I think it's like over 3 million she makes just in nil.
Now we're just getting trolled.
That's all right. Probably something you ate.
Yeah. Broccoli.
Peter trying to take his question seriously. Now he's just trolling.
I know. Now it's probably cabbage and broccoli, Pete.
Taco Bell. He had a run for the border.
We're gonna need a few more details.
Yeah, we got to really assess those farts.
Yeah,
need to know what you ate. Sausage with broccoli. All right, guys, we're starting to we hit the hour mark. Let's transition. What do we have next on the docket?
We never really touched on NFL free agency that much, but I heard a rumor. Well, ESPN put out a mock draft, and they have, and this is probably just for entertainment purposes from their mock draft, but they have Minnesota trading for Kyler Murray. And a lot of people are like putting stock into that because it was on ESPN's mock draft. I don't know.
Card spike again?
No, I don't know. I sold them all already except for the downtown.
Which QB went to the Cardinals to back him up recently?
Desmond Ritter.
Okay. They want to go with Ritter.
But
if they're picking 4, though. They could stay there and take McCarthy or trade out.
I mean, the one thing is Kyler makes $1 zillion. So, there is something to just getting that off the books. I mean, remember, if we go back a year, he was basically, he got all the guaranteed money and he had attitude problems.
Well,
he's kind of a pain in the ass.
Well, McCarthy's like really, really moving up the draft boards. So I feel like a lot of teams that wanted him are now kind of like being like, oh man, we might have to trade up to get him.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's so much uncertainty. There's been talk that Marvin Harrison Jr. is not going to go to the Cardinals at 4 now, that the Cardinals could trade the pick to someone that wants McCarthy.
Right.
Yeah. But if they hang on to that pick,
which that would be interesting, because that would mean if the Chargers didn't do anything, that Harrison Jr. would be teamed up with Herbert.
But then, so the Giants pick 5, so they would not take Marvin.
I thought the Chargers pick 5. I thought the Giants were 6.
Chargers at 5, right?
Oh, Chargers at 5?
Giants
okay, so
at 6.
Well, the Chargers would love to have him at 5. That would be.
I figured they would end up with either him or Malik Neighbors if they didn't trade the pick. Either way, they're going to get a wide receiver because
that's kind of a dream scenario. Yeah,
they're going to get. Yeah, if Harrison gets teamed up with Herbert, I wonder if Herbert sees a bump off that hype.
I mean, they get one of the two. They get one of the two, right? Neighbors or Harrison.
Well, there's talk if Cardinals stick and stay at 4 and take Harrison, then some team will try to trade with the Chargers because everyone wants to get ahead of the Giants.
I agree.
If McCarthy's there at 6, the Giants would take him.
I think Cards and Canvas is right. I mean, well, look, McCarthy threw like 12 passes last year, so he didn't show anything. I know Michigan didn't ask him to do a whole lot, but someone's going to reach on him regardless. He's not going to go late first, second round. I don't disagree with that comment at all. But yeah, the way that this works is he's going to get pulled off the board. Somebody's going to reach. Yeah, absolutely.
Happens all the time.
Yeah, she's really counting on that base salary. $76 grand from the WNBA.
Yeah, she's going to get like 10 million from Nike probably next year.
Yeah, Harbaugh's trying to selling his guy. That's fair. That makes it. Sean Payton's going to want a QB, obviously, and I think they're sitting at like 15, maybe. The Broncos. Saints are at 14. I think they're 15 or 16.
Oh, Denver's that far back?
I thought they were.
They might.
They were
be,
actually like mediocre. They were very mediocre last year, even with Wilson being a disaster.
100% Peyton's taking a QB. Yeah, Michael Penix. This is the guy, and Penix said he wanted to play for the Saints. The problem is we committed to Derek Carr for an extended period. We have him for at least 2 more years. So are we going to have Penix sit? I mean, I wouldn't mind it at all if we had Penix sit, like Jordan Love style.
The young quarterbacks need to sit these days. Very rarely does one just come out and just blow. I mean, CJ Stroud did it, but a lot of these quarterbacks that have only been with their teams 2 and 3 years now and are being traded away. I know the emphasis in the NFL is to win now, so it makes it really hard to develop a quarterback. But see, Houston, they weren't in a win now mentality. They were in a we're bad, we got a quarterback, and they happened to win now, which was completely unexpected. But a lot of the
Browns obviously in win now mode. They got Jameis Winston, so obviously they want to win now.
Well, they have to because they probably have so many contracts that are they probably have so many big contracts that are going to be coming up, and they're handcuffed into Watson for so much money that they might not. They need to make their run. Miami's the same way.
Jameis Winston, I'm going to miss him, but also not going to miss him as well because he's like such a nut, but he is hilarious. Denver's at 13, and then Colorado's saying Denver's at pick 12. I didn't think they were that low, but maybe they are. Yeah. There's a lot of good players. Like the Saints need a tackle. That's really what we need. We are desperate for a tackle. So, I mean, we've got to get the Alabama tackle, or I know that there's a few of them. We're not going to get all. He's going to go early. He's going to go top 10, but we desperately need a tackle. Yeah, our coach is a little off the rails. Yeah, Sean Payton's like he's a little wild these days. A little wild. But yeah, well, there we go. Our teams are pretty set. Steve is sold on Tua. Actually, Steve told me he's a Chiefs fan now, and then the Dolphins are like his number 2.
We locked up Chris Jones, baby.
Neo's got Jameis Winston for the Browns, so he's set.
And Jerry Jeudy, who we just gave $60 million here for some reason.
We just picked up Hollywood Brown.
Woo!
The Mahomes gonna be launching in Mahomes. No, Mahomes is gonna be launching in Mahomes burgers to Marquise Brown now. I'm a converted Chiefs fan.
That's right.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. Would you rather have need or best player? We need the best tackle that's available. So that's where we're at. What about for you guys? Do you want need or best player as your pick?
I always lean towards best player and then just figure it out.
Yeah. Same.
Best player. It's so hard to predict, because people bust out at different positions all the time.
The only way that I would go the opposite direction is if you're like one piece away. Like if you're like a Super Bowl contending team and you're like, man, we just really need like X thing. And there's a pretty decent one on the board.
Right.
Rock and Jocks, I definitely agree. That is a very accurate statement.
Oh man, the Dolphins
and the Bills. You can say the same thing about the Bills. You can kind of say the same thing about the Bengals. You can say the same thing about any AFC team that is right there in the playoffs, but just can't get past it. Michael Ham chasing fool's gold down there in Tampa.
God, Ham's always. We had the best offseason. He's so optimistic.
It's okay to be optimistic, Ham. But Ham, whenever you're ready to jump on that Chiefs bandwagon, I got you a seat, but it's filling up quick.
I think the best players are probably the receivers.
Harrison and Neighbors.
Yeah, Neighbors and Harrison. Those are the two I feel like that are like the locks.
I mean, I don't know that Harrison's going to be like the best wide receiver ever, but he seems like just to be the absolute safest play of all time.
Right. Steelers. The old Steelers.
I don't know. I don't know. I believe that if Chicago's asking price wasn't so steep in the beginning, that Russell Wilson wouldn't be on the Steelers. It would have been a straight up trade for Justin Fields. They were interested in him, but none of the teams were interested at at their original asking price. So they all went out and filled their quarterback needs. And then all of a sudden, Chicago, like, okay, well, we got to dump him for what we can take. And Steelers were automatically right back in. They would have probably gave a third or a fourth for him.
Whatever happened to Trey Lance? Is he still a Cowboy?
Yeah, he's like third.
Man. Boy, he sunk fast. He was a number 2 pick in the draft. Jeez.
Life comes at you quick.
It sure does. I'm afraid 4 of these 5 first round. Yeah, I mean, well, that's the whole thing. I mean, some of these guys will be backups 2 years. Because you don't, as Steve said, you don't get any time to get set up. You don't have any time to get used to the NFL game. There will be some. You know what was crazy? I was watching with my son. We were watching an 80s. It was late. It was like 89. It was Elway versus, who were they playing? Maybe it was the Browns. No, it wasn't the Browns.
What was it for? Was it a playoff game?
But it was like John Elway. So this is legendary John Elway going back to 1988 or 1989 on the season. He had 6 touchdown passes, and then he threw they're playing the 49ers. It was Broncos versus 49ers. It was maybe I don't know, 5 games into the season. He had 9 picks and 6 touchdown passes in this game we were watching.
Elway was never a stat monster, though.
No, and I know a lot of these guys weren't. I mean, if you obviously the stats have evolved over time. I get that, but it was just kind of like crazy to look back. And it wasn't like that was prime Elway too. I'm not saying he had like the best team around him, but he was 5 years into the league. I mean, he was young.
Right. He was really known for being clutch and game-winning drives and things like that. But as far as lighting up the scoreboard and having huge stats and things like that, he was, that he wasn't that.
Yeah. I just thought
he had good stats. I'm not saying he didn't have good passing stats, but I think a lot of people, when they think of the legacy of John Elway, because of how much he's talked about, how good people, think that he is, which he was great. I'm not trying to downplay him. I think they also just assumed that his stat line, that he was having record-breaking passing seasons and things like that, but he wasn't. He was a, above average stat line guy.
Yep. The Lions are pretty well set up. Lions look good. I agree. But the NFC North is getting better too. I mean, between Jordan Love and the Pack, I guess the Vikings are kind of a question mark, but
Sam Darnold, baby. They're going on. I don't have any Sam Darnold cards, but I can cheer for him to do good. I do want to cheer for him to do good because I want the person that bought the cards off me to do good on their cards.
Where do the Vikings pick? Because they're probably going to take a QB.
They're up there. They're trying to trade into. Originally I thought they were going to try to get McCarthy.
Yeah, or someone's going to get Jaden Daniels too. Like there's 5-6 quarterbacks probably going to go in the top.
But that's what I'm saying. The trade people that are talking about Kyler Murray being traded to Minnesota.
All right, the Vikings are at 11.
But would Arizona then take a quarterback? It wouldn't make sense.
I saw this too. That would be nuts if he dropped to the Bears at 9. I just don't see that happening. I feel like somebody would trade up and get him before he would drop to 9. But who knows? We'll see. Oh, the Vikings also picked 23. God, that's so crazy that McCarthy is now a top 5 pick potentially.
The 2018 draft is rounding out all right. There was a lot of quarterbacks there, but it depends on what Baker does. But we've seen Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson.
Yeah,
really good. And then, Josh Rosen and Sam Darnold have kind of been the bigger bust. I mean, Sam Darnold still has a job. I guess he's going to start this year pending. And then you have Baker, who's kind of, seems to have resurrected his career. So
Sam, I'm seeing ghosts out there, Darnold.
I mean, 2020 was good too. You run down the list of 2020 quarterbacks. I know they still have a lot to play, but a lot of years to play, but it's Tua, it's Herbert, it's Burrow, it's Jordan Love, it's Jalen Hurts. I mean, all 5 of those quarterbacks came in the same draft.
Yeah. Chargers want. Would you rather have Fields or Jaden Daniels? So Jaden Daniels had a really good team around him. I think that's the one thing that's kind of interesting about Jaden Daniels. Like if you're looking at Drake May, Jaden Daniels, like Drake May wasn't throwing anybody. I'm here in North Carolina. Like he went to UNC. I know some people might be a little gun shy on UNC quarterbacks with some of the Mitchell Trubisky's of the world, but I mean, Jaden Daniels had weapons around him. Like Drake May had like me out there trying to catch balls.
Who's your favorite UNC player of all time? College football.
I mean, as far as the best, well, you got
not the best, just your favorite. Just your.
I'd probably be. I don't know because I'm not like my wife went to UNC, so
right.
You had LT went there, and then Julius Peppers went there, but he played for the Panthers. I'm a Saints fan.
I'm going to name one that's an obscure name, but you guys might remember him.
Well, hold on.
Who I like?
Let's see for football. I'm not sure. I wouldn't say I have a favorite. Like, there's not anybody.
I think he went to UNC. I'm pretty sure. 93 draft, I think. 93 draft. I'm jogging the memory here. I'm old, so it's tough. I think a 93 draft, I believe, which was the Drew Bledsoe draft. Drew Bledsoe was first. Rick Meyer was third.
Yeah, I can't think of who it would be.
Natron Means.
Oh,
Natron Means business.
Natron Means, running back. Big old running back.
Yeah, running back.
Oh, Jerome Bettis was in that draft, too, from Notre Dame. Natron Means.
Was it Natron or Natron?
It was Natron, I think, but I
thought
don't know.
It was like Patron with an N. No?
Could have been, maybe. I know it had an E at the end.
He had a lot of big years on the Jaguars.
He was on the Chargers. Did he play for the Chargers in the Super Bowl?
I think so, and then he went to the Jaguars, and I think,
remember.
wasn't he like Fred Taylor's like Thunder and Lightning back?
Oh, could have been. Well, they had Tavion Banks. Jacksonville drafted Tavion Banks and Fred Taylor in the 98 draft.
Fred Taylor was a monster, too. He was hurt all the time, but when that dude was healthy, man,
he was really good.
Oh, yeah. Taylor, nobody could tackle Fred Taylor.
He was always like the boomer bust fantasy guy. You would always want to draft him, and then he'd always be hurt for like half the year.
No, hard charger. Kerry Collins was in the 95 draft. He was picked by Carolina. He was their first pick. Carolina was an expansion team that year. Carolina and Jacksonville.
He was good.
And it was
thoughts on Zigino getting 8s and 6s on some high-end cards, karma or just bad luck? I'm going to vote karma on this one. What do you guys think?
I'm going to vote let's wait till we actually get the cards in hand and see what they look like.
Oh, okay, so Neo is saying maybe he should have the cards in hand before he's assessing. Okay.
Well, I mean, on the 8 Bedard, I watched this video before we hopped on here. On the 8 Bedard, he clearly showed. He's like, oh, this is a known issue on the Bedard. It causes it to get 8s, and the card clearly has that issue. Like, why did you send it in the first place?
Okay, so Neo says incompetence. Steve?
I didn't see the cards, and the only card I knew about was the Gold Wemby. I didn't know he had multiple cards, and I just heard about it getting a 6. So, I mean,
I didn't see the video.
It feels rough for anything fresh out of the pack to get a 6. It just
it's either
I don't care who you are. That just doesn't seem
either got damaged or there's a surface issue.
Yeah,
like,
I mean that just doesn't seem right on a manufacturer's end to pull a card like that and for it
like,
to be damaged like that. I'm not saying that they care. I'm just saying it doesn't seem right. Whether they care, the fact that they don't care is the not right part about it.
It seems odd that you can get a 6 on an ultra modern card, but you
sell your product.
You
sell your product on the chase cards, right? The people buy your product. You sell your product on your chase cards, and then your chase cards are beat the hell when they come out of the packs.
People don't care. They'll just buy the next break.
I don't know.
I
don't buy wax.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the thing. I don't buy. Yeah, I don't do it either. All right.
Yeah, crazy Kev is probably right here. I live in Redskins Commanders territory. They always mess up their draft pick.
It's going to be a quarterback. We just don't know which one, of course. Yeah. God, remember who was the QB last year? Everyone was going nuts for all the Roth.
Sam Howell.
Sam Howell. No, I think it was Blez. Wasn't Blez like
multiple? Yeah.
Sam Howell. They were like snorting Sam Howell cards.
No, he's in Seattle.
You misspelled pump and dump.
Who? What?
Man, they love their Sam Howells over there. Natron means.
But is Geno Smith still in Seattle, or is that?
Yeah, I thought he was
to compete for.
Yeah,
you know who was good was what's his face, Drew Lock. Seattle traded Drew Lock, and Drew Lock actually looked good for Seattle last year when he was.
Isn't he on the Redskins though?
I think he got traded. It's Washington. It's Washington.
He bounced around too because
I'm a Cleveland Indians fan. We call them the Washington Redskins here.
Who right now on the books is the starting quarterback for Denver?
JJ McCarthy. I bet Sean Payton has.
Is Trevor Siemian there? Trevor Siemian?
Oh my God!
It's not Brett Rippon, or Brett Rippon. I almost said Mark Rippon.
It's probably Mark Rippon.
Redskins.
It might be Mark Rippon.
That's the last time they won a Super Bowl, isn't it? Or have they won since then? Washington.
Mark Rippon. I don't think so.
He got into like NASCAR. Had owned like NASCAR teams and stuff. Him and Joe Gibbs. Must have been something in that Washington water over there.
John Wolf has an important comment at 10:17 p.m.
All right, I agree with Patty's here. Caleb Williams. Well, I think just with his attitude, I don't think anyone's really rooting for Caleb Williams because he already seems like
everyone seems to hate that dude already.
He's already coming across like a diva, and he hasn't even stepped foot on the field yet. So it's like, bleh. All right. So which comment were you looking at?
10:17, John Wolf.
Oh yeah, are you gonna address the crazy? Is that why everyone's here, for me to address the crazy guy that made a video about you? You know what?
What happened?
He got great traction on the video. So yeah, Ziggy made a video about me. Normally, now to be fair, he's made about 100 of these videos, John, before this one. So normally they get about 40 or 50 views, but the YouTube gods, they're like, you know what? We're gonna make this thing go. So good, good on him. Good on him.
Did you gain any subscribers from that video?
I think it was kind of a wash. I lost a few, and I gained a few, so I can't really tell, unfortunately.
A lot of washing going on.
Sadly, no, I don't think there was much of an effect, which is sad, but what can you do?
You have to up your ad rates when you sponsor Ziggy's next video for an attack ad.
Yeah, the one thing I'll say, so the Ziggy thing, because he's made 1,000 videos about me before, and this is going back 4 years going back to when he was the moderator of Jeff Wilson's Facebook group for Sports Card Investor, going back all the way then. I've been dealing with this, but so that's why it's kind of like I've been hearing this for years, that this is just kind of the latest thing. It's like if my hair's parted wrong, there's a video going up. So it's like that's all like old hat. So I'll kind of put that's kind of like one thing, but there was some good comments. I felt like some of it's kind of like the usual guys that show up to talk smack, and that's fine. But the one thing that is a challenge that I am working on is just kind of balancing out sponsors and how long the reads are going to be and that sort of thing. And there was some valid criticism there. So that's what I can take away from that video is like, okay, there was enough people in there talking about that to where, and I'm already like thinking about it and tweaking it. So it's not anything that like I don't already know, but it's good. Sometimes it's good to get that sort of feedback. So I don't really mind it. So yeah, it is what it is. It's part of the deal as a YouTuber.
I will be in Cards HQ in about a month.
Oh, are you?
To go back for my secondary visit. Yeah, I'm going to Atlanta for a concert. So
is this segment sponsored by Cards HQ?
I'm not planning anything or I'm not contacting Jeff or planning anything like that to do any content. I mean, I might do personal content, but I'm just going to go in there and see what they have for sale.
Steve's like, I'm just going to kind of mind my own business, go in there. And then there's going to be a whole vlog of like Daisy running through Cards HQ.
Oh no, Daisy's not going to Atlanta with me. She's got to stay home.
Didn't he win the league? Didn't he win the league?
What?
Didn't Jeff win the fantasy football league?
He sure did.
Yeah, trophy.
Yeah, the ring should be in, and
the
ring at this.
Yeah, I am
at the shop.
Well, I don't know if you
deliver it in person. Then you could like bring it on like a little pillow or something.
He probably doesn't even care. He probably doesn't even remember. AIH, I hope you're right. Actually, Ham just said that if he calls me, I can buy and open a box for him on camera.
Yeah, you could do a little break in the break arena.
No, I'm not getting any kind of special treatment. I'm just going to go in there and shop for cards and buy
special guy.
What I want to buy like anybody else.
That's not special treatment. You can you don't have to.
Anyone can walk in and
you
break
can
a
go
box.
sit down and open
in the breaker arena though.
Yeah, that's what it's designed for.
Yeah, you just buy a box and you go and open it.
I mean, I'm going to have, if I buy wax, I have to break it because I don't have a bag to take it home on.
Can you tell me, can you please tell us, hey, you know what though, if you do that, tell us when you're going to be there so we can live stream at that time. And so we can actually like kind of like dual live stream the Cards HQ stream with our stream. And so we can kind of talk smack as you're opening that box.
Man, that sounds complicated.
We can barely get Steve to log on this thing at 9 p.m. Now you want him to do like multiple.
I was here tonight. I was ready to go.
No, you weren't.
Dustin was the one who needed water or something.
You were late. And then Dustin was double late because he wanted coffee.
That's right. Jared Stidham is still there.
There it is. I've still got a few Stidhams, so he can pop off anytime. He can be their starter.
Check your StarStock account. Everyone probably has some Jared Stidhams.
I want to go in there and see what kind of singles he has because how often is he supposed to change prices on stuff? So if stuff goes up, can stuff still be marked down if they don't keep up with it quickly? And I also want to see how much of the inventory is different than when we were there in January, late January, early February to see.
Maybe he's got a clearance rack set up for you there, Steve.
Bargain boxes, dollar boxes. I don't know. But if I am going to bust wax, what a better place to buy it, right? Because might have a chance to get a loaded box.
So I will say,
loaded.
So they were kind of talking about that. So Michael Rubin, they just did a video here. Jeff just put out a video with Michael Rubin in the store and kind of some of the clips or whatever. And Michael Rubin was saying something about, oh, I can't believe that Tom Brady card hasn't been pulled, the 12 out of 50 where he inscribed it, that's got a $500,000 bounty on it. But I was trying to like read between the lines. And it's like Michael Rubin is like, it was almost kind of like the Easter egg hunt where like you're telling your kids like, I don't know, I think it's behind that tree. And you know it's behind the tree. I was like, is Michael Rubin trying to say that it's in the store? You know, like
you're saying I should call Jeff and be like, how many cases of Bowman Draft 2023 do you have? I would like all of them.
Hey, if that card comes out of Cards HQ, then we can go and do we can report on, we can be the Darren Rovell and we can go down there and report on the local. You're
not a real journalist, Dustin.
Look, I'm just saying, I don't ever buy wax.
Rovell already told us you're not a real journalist.
I don't ever buy wax or get into breaks. But if I were to do so, I would try to find the breakers that are getting the loaded boxes. if I truly thought that, right? So because I don't buy wax, I don't really necessarily concern myself with it.
Dustin, circling back to Ziggy, if he cracks the card out and sells it, or Kurt's card carries it, do you have your response attack video lined up and ready to go?
If what now? Say it again.
If Ziggy cracks and Kurt card carries the WNBA up, if he juices it up a little bit.
Oh man, I hope. Yes.
It's a serial numbered card, so everyone knows that the 1 out of 10 gold prism Monopoly was a PSA 6.
Yeah, I think it sucks that he got a 6, man. I was hoping he would do good with that. I mean, he pulled the card out. He breaks a lot. I mean, I don't know. I just felt like it would have been a good thing.
Steve, you don't have to BS. You can.
No, for real. Like it's like if I was excited over a card,
about to permanently remove Steve from off center.
If I was super excited over a card that I got, look, I'm speaking for the general person. Regardless, I'm not speaking necessarily towards an individual. I'm just saying for the general person. I mean, isn't that what the hobby's kind of built on? Opening wax and being excited for what you get.
I guess it depends on who you're talking to.
No, I mean, okay, so my roots of the hobby go back to when I was a kid.
Oh, well, yeah.
And buying packs and opening packs and being excited for what I was going to get. If I wasn't, then I wouldn't have come into the hobby any further. I would have bought what I bought. I would have got shit in my packs, and I'd been like, oh, this hobby sucks.
Well, now we're all grown men chasing lottery tickets.
I get that, but our foundation is built somewhere.
Well, yeah, it was built on $1 packs. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. But back then, $1 felt like a lot of money.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I just have a different mentality or a different take. I mean, it's fair. It's off-centered, right?
About to be off-center with Dustin Neal and Michael Hand in 2 weeks.
I hear what you're saying, but I just feel like it's a whole gambling outfit now that just didn't exist back then. I understand like where we started from, but it's like, God, we've come like so far that it's just so different.
No, I get the money and the gambling and what goes forth and everything is different. But the excitement, if there was no excitement, we wouldn't be doing this. There would be nothing to bring us back. We would be bored with it.
Yeah, but I feel like the excitement's just changed now to where we know our chase cards, and then like when you're buying singles, you've got like your watch list or whatever, and the excitement is like, holy shit! Like it popped up. It's that card that I've been looking for has finally popped up on this auction house or whatever. So you can still get like the excitement, but it's just that now it's just like it's like a rich man's game if you're going to go and open up a bunch of packs to try to find stuff.
Okay,
like,
I don't bust wax now. So my excitement has evolved into finding good deals on raw cards, and when I get them graded, getting those good grades. A grading order popping for me is exciting.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm sure that you guys can all say that too.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying,
I love when I have cards at grading. I obsessively check.
But if I wasn't excited about that, I wouldn't do it. Right? If I had no emotional feeling towards buying and selling and flipping and trading cards, I mean, there's the money, yes, but I have a job to pay my bills. If there was no excitement or any emotion involved in what I do within the hobby, I would be doing something else that evoked emotion out of me.
Well, yeah, none of us would be doing it.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I just want to see people.
I really don't know
people who are in the hobby for a certain reason, whatever their fix may be, where they get their adrenaline rush or their excitement from. I just want to see them be able to get their excitement. That's all. And it's going to be different for every individual. But I know Michael Hamm loves to break. Okay, for instance, I don't break at all, but I know he loves to break dance. That is. But when he gets a nice card out of a break, or when he opens wax and pulls the Bedards, he's excited about it. He posted on Instagram. He's like, "Look what I got." You know, he's
if Ham gets yeah, of course I'm excited for Ham.
Okay, so we're focusing on the individual as opposed to the whole. Fair enough.
Well, that's kind of obvious, dude. I mean, like,
okay,
yeah, I've been dealing with. Yeah, it's like I just said, it's like 4 years of bullshit. Like, yeah, I can have that feeling if I want to, but yeah. All right. Yeah, it's a little bit different.
We got Manu 99 Newsstand in the chat.
Manu, what's going on, man? What's funny is now Manu's gonna have to change his to the 10.0.
Yeah,
because now 9.9s are the new 9.8s.
As I actually talked to Manu earlier today, we spoke on the phone for about a half an hour.
Ham says Daddy loves to chase. Ham, are you Daddy?
Yeah, I really hope Ham's talking about himself there.
Yeah, he is, because I said he loves to break and open wax. So that's what he's saying. Yeah. Daddy loves to chase.
Cool. I assume that Ham probably, just from what I've heard from Steve, has been catching a lot of fish lately.
No, I was about to say he hasn't changed his picture in forever because he hasn't caught another fish since he posted that avatar.
that was the first fish and the last fish.
Look at Michael Hamm in that picture. He's like 17. He's like a little baby X-Pac. He's like a little baby 1, 2, 3 kid with his fish.
Michael Hamm, fishing and sports card hobbyist. All right, boys, we're at 90 minutes, just about. I feel like we've covered some good ground here tonight. Darren Rovell is going to shut us all down here shortly, taking over the media. I'm actually excited if he can break more news and really focus on it more. That just gives me and Neo kind of
more content for us. That's a win. We're winning here no matter what.
We can work. Yeah, we can work off of that.
Yeah, I'm running out of stuff to talk about.
Steve, anything else that you wanted to throw out there before we?
No, I just see where Ham texted and said the Airbnb is waiting to be approved by the owner. But
so every time we didn't get it.
Well, no, they just have to approve it back. So basically, I guess they look at your profile or whatever. But for me, every time I've booked something recently, I haven't had to wait for any approval.
Well, they probably caught Ham's background check. And they're like, it
could be Ham. Do you have like a profile or a rating or anything? Because you can get like an eBay, like an eBay feedback rating, but you can get it on Airbnb, whether or not you're a good host and clean up after yourself or don't wreck the property and things like that. And I've Airbnb'd so much that I have a high profile rating. So maybe I don't have to.
Why didn't you book it instead of Ham?
Because I always have to book everything.
Then you get the credit card points though.
Oh, see Ham. Okay, gotcha. So because I just booked 3 stays in Europe, and they all automatically accepted my my request.
Yeah, you could have got the credit card points for it then if you booked.
I got enough of the credit card points.
Oh,
well, look at you, Steve.
I'm just saying.
Excuse me.
Flipping machine.
Actually, where you really screwed up, if you booked it, then you would get the tax write-off.
He doesn't need a tax write-off.
No, maybe I might.
All right, guys, let's end on this awkward note here. We'll be back in 2 weeks.
Steve flaunting his richness.
Nothing's awkward.
I don't need credit card points.
Steve with
oh yeah, you're right. I really could have used that tax write-off.
Steve's got the 24-karat gold gray skull back there. It's the variant from 1983.
Is it? I didn't even know. Are you telling me or asking?
No, I'm joking.
No, it's a yard sale find, like a $5 yard sale pickup.
Was it sure, Dustin, that the aircraft, the GI Joe aircraft carrier sold for like $40K the other day?
Was it like boxed and everything?
It was sealed, yeah. It was like graded in
the
8.
USS
I don't know what
flag,
their grading is. Like
yeah, they got the Eternia thing. There's all that stuff.
That USS flag went for like $42,000 or something sealed.
Speaking of rich, I had a friend that had that. Like when you were a kid, unless you were rich.
I had one friend that had that too, and he was the rich kid.
Well, dude,
yeah.
It's even like that 79 ADO Peachy hockey case that went for, $3.7 million. But you run the math on it and it's like, it's like nutty, but I think it's the only one that exists. And I think it's like with that sort of thing too. It's like, I've got the only Eternia play set that's never been opened or whatever.
Sealed USS flags are laying around.
Yeah. You couldn't even fit that like under your bed. It was so big.
I love when you see those like, someone will post every once in a while. There's a Twitter account that I follow that they'll post like the store shelves at like Toys R Us in like 1986, and you just see like 20 of those things stacked on top of each other, or like all the Star Wars toys brand new in the box. You're just like, oh my god, we're so stupid.
Right. You just didn't know. I mean, you want to play with that stuff when you're younger. You get that, man. Like when you don't have that many toys, man, and you get the good toy, man, you play with that.
For even like Nintendo Power, like graded Nintendo Power sell for like astronomical sums of money. Like I had all that crap.
What about your Pearl Jam concert? I've been looking at tickets, and they are really expensive. No, I've been looking to try to get tickets, but I'm not paying what they're asking for them right now.
Well, we paid through the nose for them. Yeah, I paid like $1,000
for a pair.
Yeah,
the best ones on StubHub right now are like $900 for one.
For one ticket?
For one ticket. I paid to see them in Rome in 2018 for 3 tickets for me, my wife, and my daughter for less than that.
I don't know, man. Yeah, it seems like it's gone up. It obviously has. I don't know if it's just because it's Baltimore. I don't know if it's like it's a U.S. like it's like a lot of people.
Bridge. We didn't even talk about the bridge.
Oh yeah,
that bridge is right over here. Like, I mean,
is that going to affect you getting the Chantilly?
No, because I take the Chesapeake Bay Bridge, which is way, way, way bigger than that one. But the Key Bridge, my brother and I used to drive across that all the time. He used to live in North Linthicum in Ferndale area, which is outside of Baltimore. And that bridge, especially when we go to Orioles and stuff like that we use that bridge a lot. Now that's years ago, but the Key Bridge, like that, that was big time.
That video was crazy.
Like you would use it as a landmark. Like somebody would be like, "Where do you live?" And you tell them, and they're like, "Well, where's that at?" "Oh, about this many minutes from the Key Bridge, like east or west side."
Yeah, that's nuts. Absolutely nuts.
It's my wife, far from the harbor. I mean, it's right there.
We're doing the 90s, the 90s rock tour this year. We're doing Smashing Pumpkins and Green Day and Pearl Jam. So we're hitting the
nice.
all of them this year.
The year that we did Pearl Jam in 2018, we did Foo Fighters the month after that. I think
I want to see Foo Fighters.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to see in Atlanta. When I go to Atlanta next month, there's a music festival, and we're going to the last day of it. And the last day, the headliners are Foo Fighters and Billy Idol.
Nice.
I want to rock out the Billy Idol. I've seen Foo Fighters a couple times, and that's my wife's favorite, so that's the main reason we're going. But I want to rock out the Billy Idol and his 80s stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But I'm still trying to land the Pearl Jam tickets. The concert's on my birthday. the actual day of my birthday. That's September 12th, Thursday. But they're doing like 2 or 3 shows in Philly before Baltimore.
Right. Yeah, I saw that. There's a couple of options there. We just,
Yeah.
I don't know, why did we choose I think it was just like the date made more sense for Baltimore than Philly, but yeah, Baltimore's a little closer too. We can drive to Baltimore. So, all right, guys, we're gonna jump. So yeah, 2 weeks. We'll be back. The bi-weekly show will be back in 2 weeks. Right around tax time, tax payments due. So there we go. We'll talk about
those
that.
checks have already cashed.
Yeah,
we sent ours in already.
Yeah, we're not. We're gonna hang. We're gonna wait until the last.
I'm actually getting a return from federal because I overpaid on my quarterlies last year.
Oh my God! Yeah. Well, good for you, man. Good for you.
I mean, not really. It just means I spent too much. I paid too much last year.
You paid too much in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel you. All right, guys. Thank you very much for joining us here for another episode of Off Centered. We'll be back in 2 weeks.
Later, everybody.
See you later.